when someone can beat you for 15 minutes for every second of the fight, it can really demoralize you. We train day in and day out, and you don't expect anybody to be able to do that to you.
All right. That's the best way to start, man. Julian, thank you so much for the time, man. You got this fight coming up February 5th against Steven Peterson. Steven Peterson, exciting opponent, man. One thing about him is he comes to fight. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? He's one of those guys. Technically speaking, he's never done anything that was like crazy that I was super impressed with. I mean, yeah, spinning back fist, but that's one of those moves that just kind of happens. Um, but besides that, he's never been super excellent in any aspect of MMA except for being tough, durable, and willing to fight. But I think that's also what I bring to the table as well. And I think that's also why I've had some ups and downs in the UFCs because I'm willing to not get knocked out by trying to knock somebody out. And so, luckily for me, though, I think Steven Peterson is a good matchup for me in the sense that a lot of the fights that I've watched of his, besides the spinning back fist, he really doesn't have that straight knockout power like some of the other guys that I fought have. And so, and he was originally a 35er as well. So I think size wise, power wise, I think I match up really well with him.
How does that change your approach in preparing for him? And knowing that your opponent doesn't have that knockout power like some of the other guys you have faced, because some of the other guys they have that one punch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a good example is a guy like Devonte Smith. I took that on short notice up a weight class, and Devonte had 8 first round finishes, and he was 8-1. So and then I got finished in the first round TKO. So that was a situation that I learned from, and honestly, it helps me even more try to prepare for a guy like Steven Peterson because even though he doesn't have that knockout power, things can happen. I mean, he's still got that spinning back fist knockout, so I really want to be in my P's and Q's against him. I think that's where I beat him is in being a classier fighter and just being cleaner with my technique. So if I can just keep it as clean as possible, I think he's more of a dirty guy. Like not dirty guy. I mean like a dirty fighter. Oh my bad. He likes to make the fights dirty and get in your face, and he tries to wear you out. And so I'm gonna be ready for that. And I just got to. I feel like if I keep it clean, it'll keep him at bay. And then if we do get into a little bit of a shootout, I don't necessarily have to worry about that one punch knockout.
The spinning back fist, I mean, it was a beautiful knockout that he had. How hard is it? How difficult is it to land something so perfectly on that chin?
That specific move, honestly, and it surprisingly happens a lot. Like in sparring, because people aren't used to people spinning like that, And I've landed a spinning back fist on a lot of my partners, and more than other kind of easier techniques or so-called easier techniques, and I think it's because it's one of those things that are kind of a surprise, or it's one of the techniques that don't get thrown quite a bit, and so. And I also think Martin Bravo. I think he was both. They were both throwing spinning back fists. So I think it was just one of those things that you know, uh, you're not really looking at your target. You're kind of just going with it and hoping that you land and land good. And I think Peterson just, the body mechanics and where Martin Bravo was and where he was, and it just landed perfect and hit the button.
Yeah, it was almost like he was in this free flow state, like the body just took over and then the stars aligned at the same time, right?
Yeah, especially in that fight too, because Martin Bravo was looking really well and was doing very good in that fight until that knockout. I think Martin Bravo was on his way to winning that fight, and I think that was probably the only type of move that Peterson was going to get a knockout with. So I think it was an unlucky night for Martin Bravo, but for Steven Peterson, it worked out good for him.
What about the Chase Hooper fight? Was that a fight that you expected Steven to go in there and do much better, or did you expect that type of fight from him?
When someone's specifically good at something like grappling, you tend to be a little bit reserved in your fighting. I think he was winning the fight in some spots, so I think he was just being a little bit lax in there. But then again, Chase Hooper is so young, and you can just tell by his how he's built that he doesn't have that man strength yet, and he's so green still, in the experience. I mean, he's got a decent amount of fights, but in UFC experience with some of the tougher guys, older guys. Um, I expected a guy like Steven Peterson to be able to finish Chase Hooper. I think Chase Hooper got to the point where he couldn't take him down anymore, and Peterson couldn't get him out of there. And I thought that was a little bit surprising. I feel like if I was in there with a guy like Chase Hooper, I would be able to finish him. But things happen when you're in the fight. You're not necessarily thinking of certain things and strategies. Sometimes you're just in there fighting. So I can see how it got away from him, but I was a bit surprised he wasn't able to finish the fight.
When did you realize you had that man strength?
Yeah, I was a late bloomer. Even hitting puberty, I was a late bloomer, and I think I moved to Vegas about 4.5 years ago, and I would say about that time I started to really feel a tad bit stronger everywhere. And even back then I was 28 years old, and you would think that at that time I would have my man strength, but like I said, I was a late bloomer, and I feel like now I'm really coming into my own, and I'm at the point where I have all the strength that my body's willing to give me, in age at least.
Well, in this current run with the UFC, you're 3-1. So you say you're coming into your own, man. I see it in you because the fights, the only loss that you have, you were caught in that one. You know what I mean? So it's not like you were just beat down for 3 rounds. There's a difference, right, in a fighter's mentality after a fight when you get caught and you get beat down for 3 rounds. Is that correct?
Oh, 100%. When someone can beat you for 15 minutes for every second of the fight, it can really demoralize you. We train day in and day out, and you don't expect anybody to be able to do that to you. But when you get caught, people catch you, in submissions. People can catch you with a punch. These things happen in the gym, in the octagon, and those things, you gotta take them as they come. But if someone can go in there and beat you for 15 minutes straight, it's really demoralizing because you know every day I show up at the gym trying to be the best featherweight in the world. Regardless if I ever get there or not. That's my goal, and be the best featherweight that I can be. And so when I'm putting so much time and effort into that, if someone can beat me for 15 minutes, man, hats off to them because I've been putting all the work in, and that just goes to show that whatever they got that's special about them, whether they're working, however much harder, or they just genetically, are able to get away with certain things. It's amazing. So, yeah, with the Choi fight, it was one of those things where I got caught, and then I watched Bruce Leroy end up kind of having the same first round as I had with Choi, but ended up surviving and choking him out, and that was the game plan for me originally. But with that fight, there were some things that weren't in place. And yeah, like you said, I got caught by the what do they call him, the stun gunner, Sting or
Sting.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Sting.
the guy, they call him that for a reason. He's fast and he hits hard, and I shouldn't have been playing around in that with him. I'm a way better grappler, wrestler, and I should have been able to put that to use in that fight. But it's one of those things you just got to take it as it comes and move on. And regardless of that fight, I'm really happy with the run that I've had so far. After the Sean Woodson fight, like you said, 3-1, and I'm just hoping that I can build on top of that.
Definitely, man. Do you feel like, physically you've shown, throughout your whole career that you are able to be at the highest level? Do you feel like mentally right now is like your highest level? You've reached that and it's kind of like lining up with your physical side?
Yeah, exactly. I think my coach says it best is your athleticism is like one train going this way, and then your experience is another train going this way, and they meet like strangers in the night. So what that means is like there's only a small window of time where you have the type of experience and your athleticism together to where you can perform at the highest level. And then what happens is you get older and older, your athleticism starts to lose, and then you have a lot of experience, but you're not athletically there anymore. And so for me, I feel like being 32 years old, my athleticism, my strength, and my physical abilities have aligned with my experience. I've got 35 professional fights, 10 fights, or this will be my 10th UFC fight as well. So I got a lot of experience even at the highest level. So I think it's really coming together for me.
Anything different about this training camp? You're in Las Vegas. I think now has become the best place in the world to train, without a doubt.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Vegas is the mecca. We're the spot that everybody comes. So it makes it easy too, because you see world champions that come, even just visiting here. They'll visit here and train for a couple of days, and you see these guys in the gym standing next to you, and you're like, "Holy crap, this is crazy!" Or they'll do their camps here, and you're like, "Man, it's just nuts." Brandon Moreno's out here, Francis Ngannou. So we got the smallest champion, and we got the biggest champion. Uh, we also have Aljamain Sterling. He trains at Extreme. He's a 35 champ. We got people like, Misha Tate trains, here in Vegas, and I've been a friend of hers for a long time. But you see these people that have reached the tippy top of MMA fighting, and so it really inspires you and lets you know that you are in the right spot for this. If you're really trying to chase a dream, you got to be at these big gyms. Not to say that Vegas is the only place you could be, but Vegas for sure has some of the best training, some of the best coaches, and probably the most saturation of training partners too. So on any given day, I can get a handful of the best featherweights in the world to go train. So it makes it really easy in that sense.
You have all finishes in this run, man. What do you expect in this one? You probably don't expect nothing less, right?
Oh, for sure. What I really expect with Steven Peterson is I expect him to step forward. Every step he takes is going to be forward, and he's going to try to take me down. I've been watching a lot of his fights, and I think with long, lanky strikers like Brandon Davis and like Luis Pena, he was willing to exchange with them, but I think his ultimate goal was to get him to the ground, and I think that's what he wants to do with me as well. I think his striking is mediocre at best, but he's just tough and he's durable and he's willing to get hit to hit you. So, but I'm willing to do the same thing. So I'm expecting him to push forward and try to take me to the mat, and I'm going to try to just keep my range and just defend him. I'm a big featherweight and I'm hard to get to the ground and control. So, I could just only say good luck to him on that end, but I think he's just gonna bite down his mouthpiece and come swinging at me.
Do you feel like that's where you're gonna catch him? Is where he's trying with that forward pressure on you, and you could just kind of step back and counter, quick.
Yeah, yeah. I think just the range. I think not anything specific, like a knee or elbow or a certain kind of punch or a certain technique on the feet is in my mind. It's mainly the range. If I can keep the range, before, even just like kind of recently, have I really tried to adapt my length into my striking. I used to be pretty long with my kicks, but my striking, I used to fight like a shorter guy. I used to just want to brawl with people, and that was kind of my mistake because I'm built in a way that's good for me to keep the range. If I keep the range, if I keep my range, he can't hit me and I can hit him. So I really just need to focus on keeping the range, and I've been able to do that as of recently. And like even a guy with like Jourdain, when I fought Jourdain, I think the only times I was ever really making mistakes is if I was kind of crowding myself with him. But when I was keeping the range, I felt really good with the striking against a guy who I think is a pretty seasoned striker in Jourdain, and being a southpaw is a bit tricky too. So with a guy like Steven Peterson, if I can just keep the range like I did with Jourdain, I think it's gonna be a long day for him. And and I'm hoping to get away with a finish. But like I said, he's a tough, durable guy, and I think he's only been finished like I think one time or something. But we'll see how it goes. But if I don't get the finish, I want to be able to pick them apart and get the better of them.
All right, a couple more before I let you go. Fans of MMA, they're some of the wildest out there, and I think like they're misunderstood and sometimes they go too far. What do MMA fans, obsess about that fighters don't care about?
Man, I have no. I mean, that's a tough one. Hmm. I think I would say in the purest of sense, just winning in general is one of those things that fans really care about. Obviously, like they want their guys to win, and you know some fans want to bet more. they want their their guy to win more than maybe that guy did. I mean, I wouldn't say that, but I think as a fighter, for me, if I go out there and give everything I had and know that I didn't leave any stone unturned during training camp, in the fight, and everything, win, lose, or draw, I'm happy with my performance if I gave everything I could. But I think fans are different in that sense where they don't give a shit. They don't. I mean, they do care about that a little bit, but they really want whoever they want whoever they're rooting for to win. I think they weigh that a little bit more than fighters weigh just going out there and trying to perform to their fullest potential. That's always been something that's been kind of on my mind recently in my last fights, was just going out there and performing. Win, lose, or draw, it's going to happen. But if I perform to my best, the outcome is probably going to be me winning. So if I just focus on performing, then it'll come. But if you focus too much on just winning, then you kind of lose sight of what you need to do to get to that spot.
MMA, combat sports is just full of like up and down moments, right? And some of them can be traumatic. PTSD, right? From weight cuts, injuries, like damage taken in a fight. Does it exist? Have you experienced it in the past, or have you seen other people go through it, around you?
For sure. There's so many. I mean, the human mind is such a intricate thing, and we don't know 100% about it anyways. There's so much that goes on in our heads leading up to a fight, weight cuts, the diet, training day in and day out, having a bad day at training, and then that can spiral. One little negative thing could spiral people down into a negative state of mind where, like, oh man, I did bad today. Is it the calories? Is it my weight cut? Am I not doing what I need to be doing? Like, you start thinking these things. And a good example of that is something that happened to me my last fight. The UFC got my record wrong. At the time, I was 25-9, but they said I was 25-10. Bruce Buffer said I was 25-10. And just him saying that I was 25-10 made me, like, in my head be like, is he like predicting something? Like, I know he got it wrong. I know he just got it wrong. He wasn't doing it on purpose or anything, but I was like, fuck, man, what if after this fight I am 25-10 because I lose? Like, but it's something so tiny and small, but it's like a little bit of a negative thing that if you can let that like kind of creep in, and obviously in my mind I knew it was just me being negative about it. But right before I go fight, you get your record wrong, and you're like, holy shit, if I lose this fight, then I will be 25-10. So I'm like, just something small, as small and incremental as that is, that was something I thought about, and so just that small thing did that to me. I can't imagine what, like, you see some of these guys that get knocked out once, and then you see it keep happening and happening and happening. I mean, like Tyron Woodley, he was a champion, and then he went on a big losing streak, and he hasn't won a fight or a boxing match in such a long time. And then, you get some of these other guys that start losing, and like Cody No Love, I'm a fan of his, but it's like, I don't know if it's a physical thing or a mental thing or a little bit of both. He, after getting knocked out so many times, does he now walk into the cage thinking, holy fuck, like I got knocked out my last fight, is it going to happen again? Like, because these things are running through your head. There's so many emotions going on, and it's hard to really separate them and compartmentalize and not think about those negative thoughts when you have all the pressure on you, when you have sometimes no control about what you're thinking. And so I think for sure that happens, not even on like a fight to fight base, but like a daily basis. It's like, if you have a bad day of training, especially with like some of the guys that you're around on on a daily basis that I train with, it's like, if somebody that I do well against does well against me, is it because I'm getting worse? Is he getting better? Did I not, what's going on today? Why not today? Like, why did today go bad for me versus yesterday? And so on and so forth. So I see it all the time with me, with other people, and and people in the UFC as well. So even guys at the highest level that have fallen off because, whatever it was, physical or mental. I think it was, mental, because fighting is 90% mental. So yeah, I see it all the time.